Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information, of course, comes from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting that we gather throughout the show, check the underbar or the description below. Anyway, I am A.O. Xander, and I am once again joined by the great...
Golden Loon?
Who's the Golden Loon?
No idea.
Sounds like a nut job to me. Anyway, today is Sun's Day, also known as Sunday, June 26, 2022. Starting us off, in the year of 1483, Duke of Gloucester succeeded as King Richard III of England after Parliament declared Edward V illegitimate. Well, that's interesting. That makes me wonder, because it used to be kings had absolute authority.
Yeah.
And then now, they're not voted in, but now you can declare, illegitimate, and stuff like that. And man, they've really, which is good. They've really lost a lot of their power and control.
Oh, most.
But they're still around,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
England's a great example. They have no political power whatsoever.
Yet, Canada still answers to the crown. We found out. Well, you found that out the other day.
Well, I don't know if answering is the right word, but they still have a figurehead.
Yeah.
Of the Queen.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, jumping on up into 1794, during the Battle of Fleurus, a major victory by forces of the First French Republic under General Jean-Baptiste Jourdan over the Croatian army, over the coalition army of Great Britain, Hanover, Dutch Republic, and the Habsburgs. The first use of a reconnaissance balloon was also occurred during that time. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is real. In 1794.
1794.
Reconnaissance in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, think of that.
Yeah. Wow. 1842, Ellen G. White was baptized by John Hobart in Portland, Maine. I don't know why things like this even,
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Why is it highlighted?
Yeah.
Like, this would be better. 1843, Hong Kong was proclaimed a British Crown colony.
Yeah.
That's a lot better.
Yeah, than that. Yeah.
Why is that not highlighted? 1857, the first 62 recipients were awarded the Victoria Cross for valor in the Crimean War by Queen Victoria. So that's the first 62 recipients of that award.
Okay.
So the Victoria Cross was made Queen Victoria.
Yeah, obviously.
So, yeah. 1870, Richard Wagner's opera Valkyrie, second in his Ring cycle, premiered in Munich, featuring Ride of the Valkyries. And we know that song. That one.
Yep, I know the tune.
1894, Carl Benz of Germany received a U.S. patent for a gasoline-driven automobile. In 1894, you were just talking earlier today about to me about
1916.
Yeah, hybrid.
First hybrid.
Yeah. 1902, Order of Merit was instituted by King Edward VII. What is Order of Merit, though? Let's take a look at that. Google. Get rid of me, Freud. The Order of Merit is an order of merit for the Commonwealth realms, recognizing distinguished service in the armed forces, science, art, literature, or for the promotion of culture. Well, that's interesting. That's a cool looking medal too. I wonder, who has the most medals ever collected?
Looks like the German Iron Cross.
Well, let's see here. I mean, a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's so many crosses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so many eagles. We had the eagle, and so did the Germans.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right. Never thought of that.
Yeah. 1902 as well, Aga Khan III was appointed Knight Grand Commander of the Order of the Indian Empire. Dang.
Nice, man. Knight.
Appointed Knight Grand Commander. Knight.
What does that mean, Knight Grand Commander?
He's a knight, and he's a Grand Commander of the Order.
Of the Order, okay.
Yeah. Of the Indian Empire. Keep in mind, back then, India was still owned by Britain.
I got that part. How much authority do you actually have? Is the almighty authority of India, or just of that?
Well, as far as military, like he's not into politics. He's more I don't know, because knights and all that chivalry stuff, was pretty much gone and over with by the 1900s.
Big time, yeah.
So But people are still knighted to this day.
Yep.
You know? So, once again, we're talking about figureheads, just like, posh titles that don't really have any meaning in today's world anymore. There we go. 1914, the Indian Relief Act passed after a protracted period of passive resistance led by Gandhi. It abolished a €3 tax imposed on Indians who had not renewed their their indentures, and recognized the validity of Indian customary marriages.
Go Gandhi.
Now, Gandhi also, I don't know exactly what it was, but he had like some anti-white sentiment or something. Like, Gandhi was also a racist.
I'd have to research that before I agree with you.
Well, I'm not looking for you to agree with me. It's just something that, I'm just passing along,
Okay.
I haven't researched it myself.
Okay.
But, you also got to keep in mind, back in those times, it was more socially acceptable for people to be racist. Just for anybody to be like,
Yeah, but spiritually, maybe pointing it out or something, but it's...
Well, racism wasn't even a concept
human.
back then.
Huh?
Racism wasn't really a concept back then. People were just hateful towards one another. It was just so widespread. Like look at how we treated the Irish.
Oh, I know. When they came to this country, they were definitely the second or third class citizens.
But by definition, that would be racism.
Culturalism, because you're the same color.
Well, tribalism, when you really get down to it, because there is no such thing as racism. We're all humans. We're all a human race. But,
Yes, but
tribalism.
divide through race is racism.
No.
Point.
It's tribal because we have we have the North tribe, the South tribe. We are all separated by our tribes, our family, our culture. It's not that we're separated by race, because we're all the same race. We're separated by different cultures, and different skin colors, everything. So different tribes.
You're really splitting hairs here, but go
Well,
ahead.
no, I'm just being, definition-wise. I gotta show you if I can find that video of Bill Nye explaining tribalism.
Bill Nye the Science Guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Really good. Anyway, 1925, British Opensman Golf at the Prestwick Golf Club. English-born U.S. Jim Barnes captured his only Open title, one stroke ahead of runners-up Ted Ray and Archie Compson. Also in 1925, The Gold Rush, directed, starring, and written by Charlie Chaplin, was released.
Ooh, that'd be me. Golden.
Well, that's that would be you if it was like the Canadian Gold Rush, the Golden Loon. Well, then again, you are a Cali boy too, so I don't know. You might have some validity in that statement. I'm gonna have to perform some experiments. 1928, first meeting of the International Congress of Modern Architects, also known as SIAM, at Lake Leman, Switzerland, organized by Le Corbusier. Interesting. Moving on up into 1934, Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed Federal Credit Union Act establishing credit unions. Not good.
Yeah,
Not good.
He's one of our worst presidents. He set us back so far. Oh, don't like that guy.
Yeah. 1934 as well, W.E.B. Du Bois resigned his position at the NAACP.
Wonder why.
I don't know. Now, see, if anybody calls someone a colored person in today's world, that's horrible. And I agree. It's disgusting. But then, how come it's acceptable for the National American Association of Colored Persons, NAACP? How come it's just not the National Association of African Americans or something? Why not?
Well, the color black is not exclusively to Africa, so you can't really use that as a generalization.
But when you talk about black people, you think about Africans.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's where most blacks came from in this country.
Now, a comedian made a really good point. It's really ironic that white people call black people colored, because when we get sick, we turn green. When we lose oxygen, we turn blue. If we burn, we turn red. White people are the colored people.
Multicolored.
Yeah, we switch around like chameleons.
Actually, we're white, so we're
The blank template.
Absent of all color.
Yeah, we are devoid.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
We're not colored. We have no color. And believe me, you see my pasty legs, you know what I mean.
I've seen him. He has a point there. 1945, United Nations Charter signed by 50 nations in San Francisco. Oh, that's the start of the United Nations. So the charter to start it. So 50 nations in San Francisco.
It wasn't okay. The League of Nations.
No, the League of Nations came before.
Yeah, I know.
Then the United Nations is what we have now.
But wasn't the League of Nations in 1945?
No, but at one point...
That's the charter, okay.
No, that's the charter to get it started.
Yeah, okay.
Like, but at one point, both the League of Nations and the United Nations as two separate entities, but for the same purpose, did exist at the same time.
Okay.
Like,
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
I thought one replaced the other.
They did. The United Nations replaced the League of Nations.
They did, but I didn't know they ran simultaneously at one point.
Yeah, well, I didn't know either, because the League of Nations, was a whole thing after World War One to prevent that from happening again, and then it fell apart. I thought it had dissolved, but no, it was still around, but it had no power. Nobody listened to them.
Actually, World War II is just an extension of one because it never got solved.
Well,
resolved.
If you really want to say that, then the Cold War is just an extension of that as well, because World War II introduced the atomic bomb, brought us into the atomic age, and then we had a Cold War. But just because there's no fighting doesn't mean that there's not war. Remember, Korea has been at war since the actual war in the 50s. They've never not been at a state of war since then. North and South Korea are still at war with each other.
The Cold War developed out of the division of divvying up the wins of World War II, so I don't see how you can say that's an extension, because it's actually the opposite. It's what was divvied up and gave power to who, and then the Cold War started.
I thought the Cold War was about nuclear stockpiling and all that stuff, because that's when it turned into an actual Cold War. It was like the term Cold War, I believe, was coined because we weren't fighting each other, but we were kind of looking at each other coldly while slowly building up our nuclear arms race.
We were at odds with one another.
Yeah.
So it means you're not shooting each other, but we were at odds. Still are today.
But then that would. Well, that's a thing to ponder. Yeah. That is a thing to ponder. Yeah, 1946, Fred Allen's last radio show occurred. His guest was Jack Benny.
Oh. Jack Benny was a big guy on the radio at that time.
Here we go. 1952, Nelson Mandela and 51 others infringed the South Africa curfew. Good. 1953, Lavrentiy Beria, one of the trio of Russian leaders after Stalin's death and the former secret police chief, was ousted from power and arrested. Yeah, I think because there's this I don't know what it was called, but there's this movie about the Russian government and stuff after Stalin's death, and all the stuff that happened and everything. And this guy looks familiar.
I don't recognize him at all.
Anyway, 365 days later, in 1954, Jim Peters ran a marathon in 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 39.4 seconds.
That must have some significance. I don't know what, though.
Well, marathon is what, 26 miles?
Yeah.
Can you run 26 miles in 2 hours?
I can't run it at all.
Neither can I. 1955, LPGA Western Open Women's Golf, Maple Bluff Country Club. Patty Berg Patty Berg won her 5th WO title by 2 strokes from Louise Suggs and Faye Crocker, the first WO played at stroke play. I don't know what that means. 3 years later, in 1958, Gaston Eeschykens became Premier of Belgium.
Okay. That's something I'll never remember.
Same here. 1959, Igmar Johansson technically knocks out Floyd Peterson in 3 for heavyweight boxing title. Here's this cowboy-looking guy again.
That's Peterson.
Yeah.
Not Johansson.
Yeah. Well, it's linked. You can see the blue.
Yeah. No, but I'm just telling you who that is.
Yeah.
I remember that fight.
Yeah. Wow. Also in 1959, Queen Elizabeth and President Eisenhower opened the St. Lawrence Seaway.
Ah.
That's interesting. What is the St. Lawrence Seaway? Let's see here. Order. St. Lawrence Seaway. The St. Lawrence Seaway is a system of locks, canals, and channels in Canada and the United States that permitted ocean-going vessels to travel from the Atlantic Ocean to the Great Lakes of North America as far inland as Duluth in Minnesota and the western end of Lake Superior. Well, that's interesting.
It opened up to the Great Atlantic.
And that makes sense. The U.S. and Canada, and once again Canada being under the British Crown, so, that's why, Queen and President, were there. It makes sense. In 1963, speaking of presidents, U.S. President John F. Kennedy gave his famous Ich bin ein Berliner, intended to mean I am a Berliner, but may actually mean I am a donut, speech in West Berlin. I remember that. I am a donut.
I've never heard that before.
I've heard of that, off and on, and it never stuck in my mind, but yeah, that's somewhat familiar to me. I am a donut. What? 1967, Pope Paul VI named 27 new cardinals, including Karl Josef Wojtyła, the Archbishop of Krakow, and future Pope John Paul II. Well, that's cool. 1968, Iwo Jima and Bonin Islands were returned to Japan by the U.S. So we held them, until then.
Yeah.
1970, Frank Robinson hit 2 grand slams as Baltimore Orioles beat Washington's Senators 12-2.
2 grand slams. That accounted for 8 runs to the 12.
That's a lot of breakfast. I'm sorry. Every time I see a grand slam, like I'm a fatty.
Wait
like,
a minute. The term for breakfast came from baseball.
I understand that, but that's irrelevant.
It is?
It is to me.
In your head it is, maybe. Like your head's irrelevant.
Yeah. 1975, Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi declared a state of emergency. Dang, look at that hair though.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
Yeah. Reminds me of...
The Bride of Frankenstein?
Yeah. Exactly right.
Yeah. Not to knock on her, but the face is not helping her either.
No, come on.
Oh.
She's a great woman.
Yeah. Well,
Fair time.
It doesn't hurt to mock people.
No, I know that. No, you're absolutely right. I'm the number one in trash talk.
I'm not trying to disrespect her. I'm just saying, you know.
Look at that picture. Roll back up. See that? Okay, there you go.
Like,
say no more.
Yeah,
Would you date this woman? That's the question.
No. 1977, Elvis Presley sung in Indianapolis, the last performance of his career. Interesting. 1979, Moonraker, the 11th James Bond film starring Roger Moore, premiered in London.
Yeah, I never liked him as a James Bond guy. Didn't work.
1981, Stripes, the U.S. military comedy film, directed and produced by Ivan Reitman, starring Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, and John Candy, premiered. Interesting. 3 years later, 1984, Barbra Streisand recorded "Here We Are at Last."
Who cares?
All right. 1 year later, 1985, Portugal's socialist prime minister Mário Soares resigned amid predictions that parliament would be dissolved and elections called.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah. 1987, Columbia Records released King's Record Shop, the 6th studio album by U.S. singer-songwriter Rosanne Cash, and the final of her albums produced by husband Rodney Crowell.
Yeah, who cares?
Well, people care,
I guess. If you're in the music industry, you're definitely going to care.
1992, Glastonbury Film Festival in Portland. It's apparently Glastonbury, time. I've been reporting Glastonbury for a week,
Okay.
Every day there's Anyway, it opened. Shakespeare's Sister and Yusono Dior headline with other performers including Lou Reed, Chrissy McCall, Tom Jones, Joan Armatrading, Richard Thompson, Billy Bragg, Television, and the Dirty Dozen Brass Band. I don't recognize any of them.
Well, Tom Jones, you have to.
Somewhat.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've never really been into music.
Time. Not of your time, anyways. I wasn't a big fan of his, but nevertheless.
Well, I've never been that big into music, because if you remember, when I was a teenager, that's when you really get into music. You get all the posters.
Yeah, you were big in it.
I was never like that at all.
Yeah.
I had several of those, wow, the 70s, or now that's what I call music, Volume 5 or whatever. I had those, but I never really had anybody's album. I never followed anything, like really Creed or anything like that. Anyway, 1993, New York Met Eddie Murray was the 20th to get 1,600 RBIs. What's an RBI?
Runs batted in.
Okay. Cool. Also in 1993, the U.S. launched a cruise missile attack targeting Baghdad intelligence headquarters in retaliation for a thwarted assassination attempt against former President George Herbert Walker Bush in April in Kuwait. I had no idea that happened. An assassination attempt in Kuwait on him?
You know what? I'm trying to think back too, but
because like the only thing I can think involving a bush is like when this guy's son,
yeah,
like a ninja, dodged the guy throwing shoes at him. Remember that?
yeah, like I do. Yeah, that was supposed to be the ultimate insult, but he didn't get it. He just dodged the shoe.
Now, was that before or after he choked on a pretzel?
Yeah, I couldn't even start to tell you.
But that was funny. Like, he's just like...
Yeah,
the guy
just kept going.
He's just standing there, and he's just dumbfounded. Like, what is he doing? And he just... What are you doing? And he dodges another shoe, and then the guy gets tackled.
How could you tell when he was dumbfounded or his regular look? To me, he just dodged it, kept on going.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Let's move on.
I guess it's just the energy.
We're
I don't
just
know.
trashing presidents today.
Well, isn't that what they're supposed to be? Just trashed, you know?
Why not?
1994, Kirby Puckett passed Rod Carew with 2088 hit at Twins top hit leader. All right.
Hit leader.
Look at the difference, and that's obviously from the 70s here.
Yeah.
But look at the style,
Rod
the
Carew,
uniform, the
he ended up
hair.
playing for the Angels, Rod Carew, later in his career. They loved him here.
1994 as well, PLO leader Yasser Arafat returned to Gaza after 27 years. Wow.
Jeez.
Dang.
I know he's gone that long.
Well, I guess he was waiting for them to strip it or something.
We can strip it.
Gaza Strip.
Oh. I should
Thinking-
have known better to ask. I'm the setup man today. I can see it.
Also in 1994, Senior Players Championship Men's Golf at TPC of Michigan. 1992 champion Dave Stockton won by 6 strokes from Jim Albus.
It's a big lead. 6 strokes. It's
Yeah.
huge.
1995, gunmen ambush Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak, who escaped unharmed.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ooh. Dang, that must have been a scary time.
Quite a coup attempt.
Yeah. 1997, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the first book in J.K. Rowling's best-selling series, was published, and I still have that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I got the first 4 books or something before they got too big.
Yeah. No, I know.
365 days later, in 1998, another Glastonbury Festival in Pilton, England. Primal Scream, Blur, and Pulp headline. Other performers including Bob Dylan, Tony Bennett, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Tori Amos, the Foo Fighters, and the Hot House Flowers. I recognize some of them.
Well, that's an odd combo for a headlining a show. Bob Dylan and Tony Bennett. Really different music. Really different.
Well, no, those aren't the headlines. Those are other performers.
Performers, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Well, like Blur, is
So
familiar.
Tony Bennett and Bob Dylan are headliners.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
really get
Oh,
at.
okay. So they're not headlining. That's what's
Right.
weird.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, it's just radical different music. It's yin and yang. Yeah, that's what I'm in the same
Yeah.
show is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. In 2003, during the NBA draft, St. Vincent St. Mary HS or High School in Akron, Ohio, small forward LeBron James was first picked by Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yep.
Man, what a mistake they made.
No, that wasn't a mistake.
Well, with how he turned out,
Well,
politically,
forget political, basketball-wise.
the man
pick
ruined.
nobody but him.
That guy has single-handedly ruined the NBA.
Well, he's contributed to it, in my opinion, because they politicized
Yeah.
the love of the sport. I want sport. That's it. Don't give me anything else. I don't care what you believe in, whether I agree or not. Just give me basketball. That's all I want.
But you want to know how powerful these people have become? Like, because I was watching once again Tim Pool again or somebody, another show actually, I think, I'm not sure, but they were talking about Colin Kaepernick, and now he wasn't even that good of a player.
He had a good solid year, maybe 2, one that I know of.
But like,
That's it.
but he like
We actually started for San Francisco.
I mean, like in comparison with the other people, like not even the all stars or anything,
Right.
or the all times, but like in comparison with other people of his time, like yeah, he was good, but he wasn't even in like the top 50%. He was there pretty much, but because of his actions, he's forever going to be known in NHL history,
Yeah.
NFL history.
Well, he goes on about being slaves to the NFL.
Yeah.
NFL, and because please make me a slave, I'll make $5 million
Yeah.
a year. What he totally doesn't realize is the amount of freedom sports athletes have gotten over the years. They used to be locked in. That was it.
Yeah.
And they could play for no other team. They had no negotiating power. Anything.
Well, see, here's the
all
thing.
that has changed to the good for the athletes. He doesn't recognize that at all.
Here's the thing, and not to sound like I'm on Colin Kaepernick's side, because believe me, I am not. But when you start trading people like that, then you start getting into like, okay, that's because you're literally trading people like a commodity, and is what slavery did. I mean,
No. Because the difference is, you volunteered to sign the contract that allows them to sell you because you are a commodity. You signed that contract, and they're paying you a great deal of money to be that commodity.
That is a good point.
That's it. But you can't complain about something when you signed the deal, and who wouldn't?
You just realize you just killed an entire argument I've been leading on for a while. Like, that's a really good point.
Sorry about that.
No. Anyway, moving on up into 2012. Animated film Ice Age Continental Drift, directed by Steve Martino, and Mike Thurmier, with voices by Ray Romano, and John Leguizamo.
Wow.
Leguizamo, premiered in Buenos Aires.
I think that's how he pronounces his last name.
Can you do better?
He can.
We're not talking about him. We're talking about you.
I have problem with the John part. I'm not even sure that's how you pronounce his first name.
Johan.
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 No, Johan.
It's
not
Johan.
John, it's Johan.
Johan.
Ray is Ray. That one I get.
Sure it's not Rye?
No, it's Ray. Well, we need an E on the end to make the A sound like an N, so it would be raw.
Well, I mean, Y is a vowel.
Should be raw.
Isn't Y is a vowel? A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y or the W, what's it is?
Yeah, I think you're right. But don't ask me to quote that.
I don't know. I'm no linguist. In 2013...
We can tell that, trust me.
In 2013, Peter Ustinov's The Moment of Truth opened at Southwark Playhouse in London, starring Bonnie Wright, a.k.a. Ginny Weasley.
Weasley? No wonder
Weasley.
she changed it.
Yeah.
I would have changed that too. What a Weasley.
Oh, with that hair, she kind of looks like it,
You immediately goes to the high school attitude about teasing someone. We knew someone that was named Gladys. We called her Happy Bottom. You just go there when you're a kid. What can I tell you?
2014, Luis Suarez was expelled from the 2014 FIFA World Cup following his biting accident. Remember? Oh, yeah, that's right. He bit somebody yesterday.
That's
Remember?
right, yeah.
What the hell? Who's this guy think he is? Mike Tyson?
Yeah, oh, God.
2015, during the Greek credit crisis, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras called for a Greek referendum on new bailout terms. Man, Greece, the ghetto of all of Europe, essentially. Like, what happened to them? How? Like, did they turn into such a crappy nation, Like,
yeah.
Also in 2015, U.S. President Barack Obama signed Amazing Grace as part of his eulogy for Reverend Clementa Pinckney and 8 church members killed during a Bible study in Charleston, South Carolina. Jeez. Moving on up into 2017, Theresa May's UK Conservative Party minority struck a deal to govern with Northern Ireland's DUP with guarantee of $1 billion funding. Huh. 1 year later, in 2018, U.S. Supreme Court upheld President Trump's travel ban against mostly Muslim countries.
Yeah, that was so stupid. We were talking about terror states and move on.
I mean, here's the quandary. Like, people are really stupid. So, like...
Not stupid at all. That was planned. A planned attack.
No. Let me explain.
Different opinions.
Well, no, let me explain. That travel ban is there because there's a lot of people, especially, like, for a while there was a slew of young single women who, in order to prove, like, that Arabs aren't bad people, they went to, like, Arab nations alone and single and just went around. And then they got raped, murdered, beheaded and all that stuff and everything. It's like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, look at their culture. Look at what they do to their own people, So, but... this is why I'm saying people are very stupid, especially, like, in the Western world, because, like, like they want to spread the love, which is not a bad thing, but they're ignorant about it. And so the travel ban is, like the governments do things like that in order to prevent, things like, these women who went over and ended up in proving their own point wrong, to prevent stuff like that. But like here's the thing, people have got to be responsible for themselves, but they're not. So then government has to come in to try to make sure people don't go and hurt themselves. And then people are all like, oh, blah blah, don't step on, no step on snake, no step on snake. Well, then don't jump off a cliff. Well, at some point people have got to be held accountable for their own actions. Otherwise, government has to come in and hold their hand.
Here's a stretch, but let me see if I can correlate something to this. Okay, the president banned, and they were Muslim countries, no question.
Yeah.
But he did it because they had terrorist activists in their countries that were harmful to us.
Yes.
Now, okay, so they say, he's racist. Okay, how do we go from that to today? Our Attorney General accuses mama bears, kids in schools, mama bears going to their district schools and complaining about what's being taught. Now they're
domestic.
They're domestic terrorists.
Well, actually,
that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. How about? Oh no, that's racist against women. No, it's not.
No.
They're trying to say something which is totally wrong.
We're the feminists coming out against.
Well, they're not, because it doesn't fit their agenda.
Yeah. Moving on up into 2018, the polio outbreak confirmed in New Guinea by the World Health Organization 18 years after it was declared free of the disease.
I got to tell you something. I remember as a kid seeing pictures of kids
in iron
lungs. Scared the holy bejesus out of me. I saw that and go, in a lung like that, laying there for the rest of your life. Oh my God!
That's not a life.
I haven't ever forgotten that image I saw.
Well, this image right here, those are kids.
Yeah.
That's like a prototype inside iron lung, but this is like the before they had individual ones.
Yeah.
It
was terrifying. As a kid, it was absolutely terrifying. I was probably 8 years old or something.
Yeah. Anyway, 2019, Japanese animation film Spirited Away by Hayao Miyazaki was released in China and topped the box office 18 years after its initial release. So it was older, because I remember Spirited Away, and it wasn't released in 2019, to us anyway. But yeah, no, so that makes sense. But released in China, so 18 years. China finally get it. 2019, former Gambian beauty queen Fatou Toufa Jallow said that she was raped by former President Yahya Jammeh as part of a Human Rights Watch and Trial International report. Oh, here we go. Me Too movement. 2019 as well. Here we go. Another Glastonbury Festival in Pilton. U.S. rock band The Killers headline with Kylie Minogue played the Pyramid stage 14 years after cancer forced her to cancel. Other performers included Bastille, Hozier, and Mavis Staples.
Never heard of anybody.
Bastille is familiar to me. And that's the end of the main body. Any articles grab your attention today more than most?
Well, yeah. There's a couple up there. I'm trying to think back of what I saw and kind of got me going.
Well, you got going a little bit more recently, so let's see here. What was it that got you going?
No, the president one up there, right there. No, keep going. Oh yeah, these guys here.
Oh yeah. The missile attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the
so
signing.
Many things we talked about so much I've forgotten now what the beginning was.
I know.
Yeah, the Kennedy thing was cool.
Oh yeah, I am a donut.
Yeah. Eisenhower.
Yeah, but also the signing of the UN Charter. That's interesting.
Yeah. I didn't realize those ran side by side for a while.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought one was dissolved well before the other, but no. Apparently, at one point, they both existed as an entity for the same reasons, but everybody was ignored by the. Here we go. Like the United Nations was doing the exact same thing as the League of Nations, but it's a new thing. Everybody, remember I was talking to you about my Discord server and everything.
Yeah.
Something new happens, people go. Something new, and then it's just a continuous. Nobody goes
see
back.
If they like it, then they'll move on to what they're going to like beyond that.
But see, it's the same exact thing in this case.
Yeah.
The United Nations, because literally the United Nations was built out of the League of Nations. It was like It was a thing that was formed out of the League of Nations, had the same people in charge, same everything, but just because it was new, people went to it.
Yeah.
And not a damn thing had been different, as far as I'm aware. Gandhi, passing that Relief Act, the first Victoria Cross recipients. So yeah.
The German cross, you mean? Couldn't resist.
Anyway, moving on into birth, starting us off in the year 1730, we have Charles Messier. He was a French astronomer, cataloger of M objects. He was born in Baden-Villers-Lorraine, France, and dying in 1817. What are M objects, though? So let's see here. M objects. Let's see. What was his name? Oh, wait. No. This guy. Charles Messier. So let's copy M objects. Charles Messier. The Messier objects are a set of 110 astronomical objects catalogued by the French astronomer Charles Messier in his catalogues de Nebuleuses et des Amas Aleatorias. Because Messier was only interested in finding comets, he created a list of those non-comet objects that frustrated his hunt for them.
Well, now that's kind of cool. That's kind of reverse. He's looking for something, and then he maps out a whole nother deal.
Yeah, everything he's not looking for.
Yeah, so, exactly.
That is interesting. 1824, William Thomson, first Baron Kelvin, Irish-Scottish mathematician physicist, the Kelvin scale, an engineer, transatlantic telegraph, born in Belfast, Ireland, dying in 1907. So, this guy invented the Kelvin scale, and he was an engineer of transatlantic telegraph.
And he looks like a physicist.
Yeah, some people really do look their part.
Yeah, he does. I have no idea what the Kelvin scale is, though.
It's a temperature.
Ah, is it?
It's there's Fahrenheit, Celsius, centigrade, Kelvin.
How did you know this?
Because I read things. The Kelvin scale, symbol K, is the SI base unit of temperature, named after the Belfast-born and University of Glasgow-based engineer and physicist William Thomson, first Baron Kelvin. The Kelvin scale is an absolute thermodynamic temperature scale, meaning it uses absolute zero as its null point. So it's basically the basis of every temperature.
Okay.
So, this is what came before Celsius, Fahrenheit, all this stuff. Yeah. Who else was born on this date? 1854, Robert Borden, 8th Prime Minister of Canada. C. 1911 to 2001. C. 1911 to 1920. Why did I see 2001?
Is he related to Lizzie Borden?
No, Canada. I think. No, I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that when he was Prime Minister? He was born in 1854, so that makes sense. He was Prime Minister between 1911 and 1920.
Okay.
And then he died in 1937.
Yeah.
Okay. He was born in Grand Prix, Nova Scotia, dying in 1937. George Hainsworth was born on this date in 1895. He was a Canadian ice hockey goaltender. He was the first NHL goaltender to record 20 shutouts in one session for the Montreal Canadiens. He was born in Toronto, Ontario, and died in 1950. Huh. David Didrikson Zaharias was born on this date, or Babe. Why did I read David? Babe Didrikson Zaharias was born on this date in 1911. She was a U.S. all-round athlete, 10 LPGA major titles, Olympic gold 80-meter hurdles, in the javelin of 1932. Born in Port Arthur, Texas, dying in 1956.
So she played professional golf and did track and field.
And then javelin throw. So
that's track and field.
All-round athlete.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm regurgitating.
Yeah. That was funny. The way I read it, the javelin of 1932, it sounds like an incident. Like the bite of 1988 or whatever it is from Five Nights at Freddy's. Chris Isaak was born on this date in 1956. He is a U.S. rock singer-songwriter. Wicked Game, born in Stockton, California. And he's still around. So, man, born in Stockton, what a horrible place to be born in.
Now, Stocktonites will disagree with you. Some will agree, I guess. It's a good place for some. If you're a farmer, you'll love it.
Well, I mean, it used to be good back in the day, and now it's just total slums and ghettos and everything.
No.
It's not a good place.
No. Stockton's got... It has slums like everywhere else. And probably more for its size, but no, there's a lot of nice areas of Stockton.
Well, my former friend Peter, from when he told me, like
Well,
it's just,
we can ask you what you think of California, and you think it's on a house of fire totally from one end to the other, so that's not accurate.
Am I wrong, though?
Yes.
No.
To the degree you go to, yes.
No.
There are good things. Go ahead.
1970, Chris O'Donnell was born on this date. He is a U.S. actor. School ties, Why did it say Robin Batman Forever? Oh, he was Robin in Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Okay. He was born in Winnetka, Illinois. So this is the guy who played Robin in Batman Forever.
That's what it says,
Yeah. I'm just saying that to you.
Yeah.
Now, is that the one where they had nipples on their suits?
I have no idea.
Hold on a second.
I have no memory of it.
Robin Batman Forever. Images. Let's get a way of. I believe it is images. Yeah,
There he is.
it is. See, look, nipples. A better image right there. See, they put nipples on their suits. No, but it's on Batman. Well, no, I guess it's not on this one. Okay, that's weird. But no, they put nipples on. See, you
Never
can see
noticed that before. You're right.
Well, the internet did, and now I cannot not notice. So, but yeah, no, there's a whole thing, bat nipples. There's a whole thing online. 1974, Derek Jeter was born on this date. He is a U.S. Major League Baseball shortstop from 1995 to 2014 for the New York Yankees, and he was Rookie of the Year in 1996, born in Pequannock, New Jersey.
Yeah, Derek Jeter.
Jeter. Ariana Grande, I know that name. 1993, she is a U.S. singer, Problem in the Way, born in Boca Raton in Florida. Huh.
She's a problem, or she sang the song?
A little bit of both, I guess. And that covers it for births. Moving on into deaths, we have Francisco Pizarro, died on this date in 1541. He was a Spanish conquistador who conquered the Inca Empire and was assassinated in Lima by the son of his former companion and later antagonist, Diego Almagro the Younger. Almagro was later caught and executed. So, man.
Tough go.
1938, James Weldon Johnson was a U.S. Harlem Renaissance poet and lyricist, lift every voice and sing. A civil rights activist and leader of the NAACP, he died in a car crash at the age of 67. Well, that sucks. Or at 67? Well, he has to be at 67.
In 6, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, not in the year 67. Actually, no, at 67. Okay, yeah, no, you're not. Wow, my brain is just not working. He died in 1938.
At 67.
Okay, at 67. 1947, Richard Bedford Bennett was the 11th Prime Minister of Canada, and he died of a heart attack at the age of 76. That's a little weird, 67 to 76.
Yeah.
Flips. Roy Campanella.
Roy Campanella.
Died on this date in 1993. He was a U.S. Baseball Hall of Fame catcher. New NL. What is NL?
National League.
National League Most Valuable Player. In 1951, 53, and 55 for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Died of a heart attack at the age of 71.
Now, he was, just to give you a side note on Roy Campanella, the Dodgers were coming from Brooklyn to L.A. making the big move, and he was one of their superstars, obviously.
Yeah.
And he was in a car accident and ended up in a wheelchair.
Oh, snap.
And he never got to play in L.A.
Oh, man, that sucks.
And they did a Roy Campanella night, the first year there, when they were in the Coliseum, and everybody lit up lighters and stuff like that. And now 3 million people claim they were there at that night, even though the stadium only held 100,000 people. But,
1997, Don Hudson died on this date. He was a U.S. College and Pro Football Hall of Fame wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Let's go Packers, cheeseheads, yeah.
Damn cheesies, I'll tell you.
He died at the age of 84, probably due to cholesterol.
They ate too much cheese.
The great state of Wisconsin will not apologize for its cheese.
Liz Claiborne.
That's an actual quote from a movie.
Yeah?
Yeah, like I think it was like some political satire, not satire, but comedy movie or something. Like where like some guy was like going after this guy for having like a Chinese breed of dog or something. He's like, oh, you're from Wisconsin, right? You know, oh well, you know, like you guys produce all the cheese, and you're also like the nation's leading, you know, the leader of deaths of heart disease, you know, due to like, you know, cholesterol and everything, or something like that. So, you know, so during like a presidential debate, he tried to flip the script back on the guy. So the guy from Wisconsin is like, the great state of Wisconsin will not apologize for its cheese. Such a funny movie. 2007, Liz Claiborne died on this date. She was a U.S. fashion designer, entrepreneur, and the founder of Liz Claiborne Inc. Died of cancer at the age of 78.
Yeah, Liz Claiborne, her mom's favorite clothes. She loved Liz Claiborne.
Dang. A really dark joke was manifesting in my mind, and I'm just not going to go there. But this is the internet and me. I'll probably say it off camera. But no, like it involves my.
Now you gotta say it.
Well, no, it involves my own mom.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, she really followed Liz Claiborne, didn't she?
Oh man, that is sick.
That is, that's
we're bleeping that one.
Yeah. Well, it's live, so.
I know.
But see, that's what the internet. I make a joke like that about my own mother. What the hell's wrong with me?
That's okay. That means you're healthy.
2012, Nora Ephron died on this date. She was a U.S. novelist, book heartburn, screenwriter, Soakwood, When Harry Met Sally. I know that movie. I haven't seen it though. And director of Sleepless in Seattle. I know that movie too.
Two chick flicks, I might add.
She died of pneumonia as a complication of leukemia at the age of 71. Oh, that is very close to. Speaking of close to home, holy shit!
Yeah.
Holy shit! Well, that's right after I made that joke.
Yeah.
So the universal line waiting for me.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, well that's the end of deaths, and that's the end of the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links that you may be interested in. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific time. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
I am the Golden Loon.
And you are you. And until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until then, toodles.